Imagine waking up one day and suddenly finding your hand moving on its own, grabbing things or reaching out without your control. Sounds like a scene out of a science fiction movie, right? But for some people, this is a very real and unsettling experience. Welcome to the world of alien hand syndrome, a rare neurological condition where a person's hand, and in some cases, a leg, moves involuntarily. This strange phenomenon isn't just about a rogue limb, it could be the sign of a serious health issue hiding in the brain. So, what exactly is alien hand syndrome, and why does it happen? Let's dive into the science, symptoms, and the realities of living with a hand that seems to have a mind of its own. Understanding alien hand syndrome, AHS. Alien hand syndrome, or AHS, causes a person's limb, most often a hand, to act independently of their own will. People with AHS might find their hand wandering, grasping objects, or even performing tasks they didn't consciously intend to do. Most often, the left hand is affected, but in rare cases, it can involve the right hand or even a leg. The key to AHS lies in the brain. This syndrome often points to a deeper issue, like a stroke or a neurodegenerative disease such as Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. And the strange thing is, people with AHS are often fully aware that their limb belongs to them, they just can't control its movements. Let's look at how different parts of the brain relate to the different types of AHS. Types of alien hand syndrome and their brain regions. AHS isn't a one-size-fits-all condition. It's actually classified into 3 types, each depending on which area of the brain is affected. 1. Frontal region AHS. Here, people often experience symptoms like groping or grasping with their hands. They can recognize that the hand is their own, but it acts as if it's on its own agenda, reaching out to touch or grab things without their permission. It's like the brain's go signal is stuck on repeat. 2. Callosal region AHS. When AHS affects the corpus callosum, the brain structure that connects the left and right hemispheres, people can experience a strange phenomenon called agnostic dyspraxia. One hand might fail to follow a command, and the other hand might step in, taking over and performing the task on its own. Imagine reaching out for a cup with your left hand, only to have your right hand swoop in uninvited to pick it up instead. 3. Posterior region AHS. This type of AHS can cause the brain to fail to recognize the limb as part of the body. Movements become clumsy and uncoordinated, and the hands may seem almost foreign to the person, as if it doesn't belong to them at all. Interestingly, there's an even rarer form of AHS known as mixed AHS. In this variant, symptoms from both the frontal and callosal types combine, causing a range of strange behaviors, like involuntary grasping paired with uncoordinated movements. What causes alien hand syndrome? AHS is rare and, in many cases, occurs because of other underlying health issues. The most common causes include stroke. In some cases, AHS develops after a stroke, particularly one that affects blood flow in the brain. When a blood vessel is blocked or bursts, it can impact a brain's ability to communicate with the body, leading to involuntary limb movements. Neurodegenerative diseases. Diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's are notorious for causing AHS. In fact, around 30% of people with a form of Parkinson's disease known as corticobasal syndrome, CBS, experience AHS. These diseases damage the brain's control centers over time, leading to symptoms that go beyond typical movement disorders. Brain tumors and aneurysms, growths in the brain or weakened arteries that bulge can damage parts of the brain responsible for movement. In rare cases, people with brain tumors or aneurysms may develop AHS as a side effect. Damage to the corpus callosum. This can happen due to traumatic brain injury or even surgery. When this important connector is damaged, the two hemispheres of the brain have trouble coordinating, and AHS can be one result. Recognizing the symptoms of AHS. AHS doesn't look the same for everyone, but there are a few telltale signs to watch for. Involuntary, intentional-looking movements. A person with AHS might find their hands seemingly acting with purpose, even though they don't have control over it. Imagine your hand grabbing something unexpectedly or moving as if it has its own ideas. Loss of ownership. Some people feel like their hand doesn't belong to them at all. This sensation can be incredibly disorienting and unsettling, almost as if the limb has taken on a life of its own. Movement in unexpected limbs. While AHS most commonly affects a single hand, it can sometimes involve a leg or, in rare cases, multiple limbs. Diagnosing alien hand syndrome. Because AHS is so rare, diagnosing it can be tricky. There are no specific tests for AHS, so doctors rely on a person's description of their symptoms and the elimination of other possible disorders. If someone's limb feels foreign or moves involuntarily in ways that don't match other movement disorders, a doctor might diagnose AHS. Imaging tests like MRIs or CT scans can sometimes help by revealing damage in certain areas of the brain. Living with alien hand syndrome. There's no cure for AHS, and due to its rarity, no approved treatments are available. However, a few techniques have shown promise in helping people manage symptoms. Bimanual tasks that involve both hands working together can sometimes help control the involuntary movements of the alien hand. For example, using both hands to manipulate a ball or fold laundry might help bring the hand back under control, even temporarily. Attention-focusing exercises. In one study, patients experienced symptom relief by focusing on colored objects, which seemed to attract their attention to one side of the body, reducing the involuntary movements in the other hand. Grasp and release activities, exercises where the alien hand grabs an object, like a cube, and then releases it may help train the brain. This repetitive action might offer a little more control over the hands in the future. Because AHS is usually a sign of an underlying disorder, such as a neurodegenerative disease or stroke, treatment often focuses on managing the primary condition. Regular consultations with neurologists or occupational therapists can be essential to adapting to life with AHS and exploring techniques that might help. Why research and awareness matter. Alien hand syndrome is not well understood, even by experts. While research has helped us make strides in understanding AHS, many questions remain. Why does the brain sometimes become confused between a person's will and their actions? How can a person regain control over their own body? In the meantime, awareness can be one of the most powerful tools. For people with AHS, understanding their condition and knowing they're not alone can be reassuring. The more we know about this rare and unusual disorder, the better we can recognize its symptoms and potentially develop new ways to help people manage them. Final thoughts? Alien hand syndrome is a neurological mystery that teaches us just how complex our brains are. While there's no cure, learning about the condition and understanding its causes and symptoms can make a huge difference for those affected. And while we may not have all the answers yet, each new study brings us closer to understanding why, sometimes, our own hands can truly become strangers to us. So, if you or someone you know experiences symptoms like these, don't ignore them. It's always best to consult a medical professional who can help you understand what's happening and explore ways to manage the condition. Stay curious, stay informed, and take control of your health, because understanding our bodies is the first step toward taking charge of our well-being. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the human brain and body.